Now bear witness to the premiere of the world's most advanced, comprehensive stretching techniques, brought to you by the one and only world champion, Zach McCarley, 6-time national champion. Amazing! I don't know where to go from here. Stretching is something that's kind of obvious, but I'm going to walk you through what I like to do, because everybody likes to do something different. I usually start with some upward dog, downward dog. I've talked about that a little bit before, but I think as people get into stretching, as you start moving around, as you start moving through different ranges of motion, squatting, things of this nature, start paying attention to what's tight, where your ranges of motion are limited. And really what I would say for anyone who's getting into athletics in general, make sure you give enough attention to all of your body parts. There's going to be a separate video talking about the Soleus. I'm probably going to ramble on for a while. I haven't done the audio for it. I've done the video for it. And it's, you know, it's interesting to see what people miss when they're stretching. A lot of times people will neglect smaller muscles, and some of those smaller muscles can lead to big impacts in limited range of motion. So you've seen some upward dog, downward dog. We've already done, as a result, we've already done a little bit of calf, a little bit of hamstring, a little bit of abdominals. I did a little bit of a squat, pushing the knees out with my elbows. That's hitting the glutes a little bit, opening up the hips. I go to a basic standing quad stretch, so that's stretching the quad. And then I usually like to lunge backwards and hit these glute stretches in a little bit more depth. And the way that I do that is I usually grab the toe, push my elbow against the knee, pushing the knee out. This is a very popular stretch. Then I usually go with the inside knee down to the arch of my foot, and then I usually so I'll be turned away from the leg that is in front, and then I'll usually turn towards it. I'm really looking for spots that are tight, and while I'm up like that, I typically hit my hip flexor stretch. You can see me switch right here and go straight to a hip flexor stretch. I typically like to do either glute hip flexor on the same side and then switch, or I like to do both glutes and then both hip flexors. This is probably because I came in and filmed on a day that I wasn't actually lifting, that I kind of was out of my rhythm a little bit right here. But hip flexor stretches are important. I definitely focus on my pelvic position as I'm doing those stretches. And when I'm up in that position, upright, I'm focusing on turning my, giving my hips what's called pelvic tilt, or sorry, posterior tilt. So I'm basically pushing my hips forward, which is actually rotating the pelvis backward. And I went back to the other side glute, and this is an additional glute stretch. So you can find this position from just a basic yoga pose, pigeon. And I like to push myself back. You can see me kind of wiggling a little bit. I push myself back until my right knee is going to be by my right armpit. And I typically post my opposite side arm directly overhead, which you can see my finger moving now in front of the camera. And then I post my other arm, that's the same side as the glute that I'm stretching, perpendicular to my body. So that is kind of forcing me into the stretch. You can see me change right here. Again, I hit that little pigeon pose, and then I'm going to kind of feel that out. If I'm feeling confident about it, I'm going to allow myself to push myself back a little bit. And while I'm doing this, I'm trying to push my hips to the ground. And you can see that my hips, I want to kind of roll towards the camera, but that arm that's perpendicular, that's out on my left side currently, that arm is keeping my hips and my body from rotating, and I'm forcing my hips square back with the ground. So that's part of the stretch for that glute. And I really enjoy that stretch. It's a really effective stretch for me. Something that you may see me go to a couple times is right now I'm doing a mental analysis of what have I stretched, what haven't I stretched. And at the end of the workout, you're going to see me literally touch every muscle group that I stretched real quick, and then know that I'm done stretching, because that's a physical check that I do. Probably very akin to like leaving the house and being like, you know, testicles, spectacles, wallet, and watch. Or, you know, for me, it's keys, wallet, glasses, phone, you know. I just make sure I got everything, and then I can move on. With this one, this is a Gastroc stretch, and I'm going to go into the difference between a Gastroc and a Soleus stretch in the other video. I have a lot to say about it, but all you need to know is I am currently stretching my left leg, the leg that is locked out, and I'm pushing into the wall. So you can see me lifting that right leg. Then once I'm done with that, I mark about halfway. And if I'm doing a Soleus stretch against a wall, I actually like to be about halfway or a little bit closer. And I'm going to allow the leg that I'm stretching to bend, and I'm trying to push that knee over the big toe. I should feel the stretch right above the ankle, not in the gastroc, not all the way up there, but closer to the ankle, just above the ankle. You will only feel this stretch if you have the weight of your foot in between the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot. You do have to maintain contact with your heel. You have to maintain contact with the ground with the heel of the soleus that you're stretching. So you should feel it right there, not feel it up there. Again, this might be a little bit too far away from the wall. I'm pretty sure that I step up closer to the wall to show a different variation of a Soleus stretch on the wall that I like to do. I really like to use squat racks and things of that nature, so this is another variation. Get closer to the wall, and I literally allow my body weight to push that knee down, and once I reach where my knee is contacting the wall, the force is actually distributed back into my heel, which is forcing my foot down to the ground, stretching the soleus. The last thing I do is a quick check of all my muscle groups, and then I'm off to get my workout in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in the next one.